Hello everyone, this is Abhishek Mahanti and you are watching Padarth Vigyan. So students, welcome to lecture number 7 of the chapter Vectors. So students, in the previous lecture we have discussed about the Polygon's law of vector addition by using which you can add more than 2 vectors. Today, in this lecture, we will discuss about a very important topic. The name is resolution of a vector. So let's get started. So students, first we have to understand what is the meaning of resolution of a vector. So look at the definition I have written on the screen. Resolution of a vector is the process of splitting of the vector into its components along the coordinate axis such that the vector sum of these components will give the original vector. So remember that resolution of a vector is basically the process of splitting of the vector into its components along coordinate axis, along x-axis, along y-axis and along z-axis, such that when we add these components, when we take the vector sum of these components, then we will get the original vector. So students, before explaining the meaning of this concept, I will give you a very simple example. Suppose you have a number 10 and I will ask you to split the number 10 into two components or into two parts such that when you add those two parts, you will get 10. So you can split the number 10 in many ways. You can write 5 plus 5, or you can write 6 plus 4, or you can write 7 plus 3, or you can write 8 plus 2, or you can write 9 plus 1. So you can split the number 10 in many ways such that the addition of these two components will give you 10. Similarly, if I ask you to split the number 10 into three components or into three parts such that the sum of those three parts will give you 10. You can write 5 plus 3 plus 2, 5 plus 3 plus 2, or you can write 7 plus 2 plus 1, or you can write 3 plus 6 plus 1. So in many ways you can split the number 10 into three components such that the addition of these three components or three parts will give you the original number 10. So this is the splitting of a number or splitting of a scalar. But we are talking about the splitting of a vector. So definitely the splitting of a vector will be different from the splitting of a scalar or the splitting of a normal number. So now I will show you how can you split a vector into its components in a plane in two dimension. So now we will discuss about splitting of a vector, splitting of a vector, or I can write resolution of a vector, resolution of a vector in two dimension, in two dimension, or in a plane, in a plane. So students, this is a very important concept, so be careful and listen whatever I am saying. Suppose I will draw a plane like this. This is the xy plane. So this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. This is x dash, and this is y and y dash. So I have drawn the xy plane. This is the first quadrant q1, second quadrant q2, third quadrant q3, and this is the fourth quadrant q4. Is that clear? Suppose I have a point P in the first quadrant. This is the point P in the first quadrant, and this point is the origin. This point, the point of intersection of the two axes is O. This is the origin. Is that clear? Now I will draw the position vector of the point P. So position vector means it is a vector joining the origin with the given point. So I will draw a vector like this. So OP vector is the position vector of point P, and let me name it as vector A. Suppose this is vector A. Is that clear? So we know that the length of the vector represents the magnitude and the arrowhead signifies the direction. So this length OP is the magnitude of vector A and this arrow mark signifies the direction. Now I will resolve this vector OP into its components. I have taken the plane, means we have two axes, x axis and y axis. So I will split the vector into two components. But if I consider space, if I consider three dimension x, y, z, then I will split the vector into three components. So first we will learn how to resolve a vector into two components, and we will generalize that concept and we can split a vector into three components. Suppose this vector OP makes an angle theta with the x-axis, with the positive x-axis. The angle is theta. Is that clear? Okay. So now you have to resolve the vector. Now I will draw two perpendiculars. I will draw two perpendiculars from the point P. The first perpendicular will be to the x-axis, the second perpendicular will be to the y-axis. So let me draw two perpendiculars. The first one is onto x-axis and suppose this point is M. The other perpendicular will be onto y-axis and suppose this point is N. Is that clear? Okay. So now look at the triangle in the triangle OMP. Look at the triangle OMP. In this right angle triangle OMP, if I ask you what is the value of cos theta, then cos theta will be OM by OP. Cos theta is B by H, so cos theta will be OM by OP. That implies OM is equal to OP cos theta. And what is OP? OP is the length of the vector A. It means OP is the magnitude of vector A. So I can write OM as A cos theta. I can write OM as A cos theta. Is that clear? So students, we know that A is the magnitude of the vector A, and this cos theta is a dimensionless and unitless quantity. So OM has the same unit and the same dimension as A. Okay. Now look at the same triangle OMP and tell me what is the value of sin theta. Sin theta is P by H, so it will be PM divided by OP, PM by OP. That implies PM is equal to OP sin theta. PM is equal to OP sin theta. That implies PM is equal to, again OP is A, so I can write A sin theta. Is that clear? So we have found the value of OM and PM. Now look at the diagram carefully. PM and ON, they are opposite sides. So I can say that ON is equal to PM and the length is A sin theta. Is that clear? Okay. Now if I give an arrow mark like this, then OM will be a vector whose magnitude is OM, means A cos theta, and this OM vector is directed along the positive x-axis. And similarly, if I give an arrow mark here, then MP will be another vector whose magnitude is A sin theta. The length of MP or PM is how much? A sin theta, and the length represents the magnitude. So MP vector has a magnitude A sin theta and it is directed along the positive y-axis. So students, remember that we had discussed about the unit vector. So unit vector means it is a vector which has magnitude 1 and it gives us the direction of the vector. So remember that unit vector along x-axis, unit vector along x-axis is written as I cap. So I cap means it is the unit vector along the positive x-axis. If in the expression of a vector I cap is written, then be sure that the vector is directed along positive x-axis. If we have written minus I cap, it means the vector is directed in the negative x-axis. Similarly, the unit vector along y-axis is written as j cap and the unit vector along z-axis is written as k cap. So I cap means unit vector along x-axis, j cap means unit vector along y-axis and k cap means unit vector along z-axis. Is that clear? Okay. So I will construct two vectors, OM vector, OM vector. So OM vector has the magnitude A cos theta because we have found the length of OM is A cos theta and it is directed along the positive x-axis. So OM vector can be written as the product of its magnitude, which is A cos theta, into the direction, which is I cap. Is that clear? Similarly, MP vector. Look at MP vector. MP vector has magnitude A sin theta, and it is directed along the positive y-axis. So I can write j cap. Is that clear? And we know that MP and ON both have the same magnitude and they are parallel to each other. So if I draw a vector here, ON vector, you can see that ON vector and MP vector, they are parallel to each other and they have the same magnitude. It means ON vector and PM vector, they are equal vectors. So I can write that ON vector is equal to MP vector. ON vector is equal to MP vector and that is equal to A sin theta into j cap. Is that clear? So MP vector is exactly same as ON vector. Okay. So students, look at the triangle OMP. In the triangle OMP, you can see that OM vector and MP vector are in the same order. OM vector and MP vector are in the same order. And OP vector is in the opposite order. So you know what is the meaning of same order and what is the meaning of opposite order. And we have discussed about the triangle's law of vector addition. So using the knowledge of the triangle's law of vector addition, I can say that OP vector is the resultant of OM vector and MP vector. OP vector is the resultant of OM vector and MP vector. Or I can write that OP vector is equal to OM vector plus ON vector because MP vector is exactly same as ON vector. Is that clear? Okay. So students, you can see that I have splitted OP vector into two components or into two parts. The first one is OM vector, the second one is MP vector or ON vector. So OM vector has the magnitude a cos theta and its direction is along I cap, and MP vector or ON vector has magnitude a sin theta and it is directed along the positive y axis or along j cap. So I can write OP vector like this. So OP vector is OM vector plus MP vector. So OM vector is a cos theta I cap plus MP vector or ON vector is a sin theta into j cap. Is that clear? So this a cos theta is the magnitude of OM vector, and OM vector is along x axis. That's why this OM vector is known as the x component. OM vector is known as the x component of OP vector and its magnitude is a cos theta. So this a cos theta is written as AX. AX means the x component of vector A. OP vector is vector A. So A vector is equal to AX I cap plus this component a sin theta j cap is along y axis. So a sin theta is written as ay, means the magnitude of the y component, and then we have to give j cap. So a vector is equal to ax I cap plus ay j cap. Is that clear? So ax means the magnitude of x component and ay means the magnitude of y component. And remember that ax and ay, these are scalar quantities. Ax and ay are the scalar quantities, and when we give the I cap or j cap, they become vector. But ax is only the magnitude, ay is only the magnitude. Is that clear? So you can say that in two dimension or in a plane, suppose we are talking about xy plane. In the xy plane, a vector can be written as ax I cap plus ay j cap. Is that clear? Okay. Now we will talk about the splitting of a vector in the second quadrant. So again I will draw another vector here. Suppose we have a vector here like this, and this vector is b vector. Okay, and suppose this vector b makes an angle theta with the negative x-axis. This vector b is in the second quadrant, and this vector b makes angle theta with the negative x-axis. Now how to split it? Again, from the tip of the vector, draw two perpendiculars like this. So after drawing two perpendiculars, suppose this point is R and this point is S. So you'll see that OR will be B cos theta, OS will be B sin theta. You can do it yourself. So you can draw this diagram. You'll see that OR will be equal to B cos theta and OS will be B sin theta. Suppose this point is Q. So I can write OQ vector is equal to OR vector. I will give a vector like this, OR vector and RQ vector. And RQ vector is same as OS vector. RQ vector is same as OS vector. So I will write that OQ vector is equal to OR vector plus OS vector. So OQ vector means vector B, and look at OR. So OR vector has magnitude OR, so the length of OR will be B cos theta and the length of OS will be B sin theta. So I can write b cos theta, and you can see that OR vector is in the negative x direction. So the direction will be minus I cap. Is that clear? And OS vector is in the positive y axis. You can see that OS vector is in the positive y axis and its magnitude is b sine theta. So you can write b sine theta and the direction is along j cap. So b vector is equal to b cos theta is bx into minus I cap plus b sin theta is by into plus j cap. So you can see that in the second quadrant the x component is along the negative x direction and the y component is along the positive y direction. Similarly, you can do the splitting in the third quadrant, in the fourth quadrant. Suppose you have a vector like this in the third quadrant. Suppose this angle is theta. Again, the angle made by the vector c with the negative x-axis is theta. So if you draw perpendiculars onto y-axis and onto x-axis, you will see that in the third quadrant both x component and y component will be negative, means the directions will be along minus I cap and along minus j cap. The direction of x component will be along minus I cap and the direction of y component will be along the minus j cap. Similarly, if you have a vector in the fourth quadrant like this is vector d, and if you split it, you'll see that the x component will be directed along plus I cap and the y component will be directed along the minus j cap direction. So in this way you can split a vector into its components in two dimensions. Is that clear? Okay. So remember that if we have vector A, then vector A can be written as ax I cap plus ay j cap in xy plane. Similarly, if we have yz plane, then vector A can be written as ay j cap plus az k cap. In yz plane there is no x-axis, so we have y-axis and z-axis. So the direction along y-axis is j cap and the direction along z-axis is k cap. So I can write ay j cap and az k cap. So ay is the magnitude of y component and az is the magnitude of z component. Similarly, in xz plane, if we have xz plane, then a vector can be written as ax I cap plus a z k cap. Is that clear? So in different planes you can split the vector in these ways. So we have discussed about how to resolve a vector in two dimensions. Now look at the diagram here. In the first quadrant I have splitted vector A. So let me draw that diagram again. I will draw only the first quadrant. So this is the positive x-axis and this is the positive y-axis. Is that clear? And we have a point P here, and this OP vector is vector A, and we have drawn perpendiculars. This point is M and this point is N. Okay, and we had defined vectors OM vector and ON vector, and ON vector is same as MP vector, and we had written that OP vector is equal to OM vector plus MP vector, and this OM vector is nothing but A cos theta. This angle is theta. OM vector is nothing but A cos theta into I cap plus MP vector or ON vector is nothing but A sin theta into J cap. So this A cos theta is AX and then write I cap plus A sin theta is AY, and then you can write J cap. Is that clear? Okay. So if you are resolve the vector in second quadrant or third quadrant or fourth quadrant, then you will get some negative I cap or some negative J cap. But suppose you will get, let us say that vector A is equal to 3 I cap plus 4 J cap. Then this 3 is AX, 4 is AY. Suppose you have a vector as minus 3 I cap minus 4 J cap, then you can write this like minus 3 into I cap plus minus 4 into J cap. So this will be AX and this will be AY. Is that clear? So remember that the coefficient of I cap is X component, the coefficient of J cap is Y component, and the coefficient of K cap is the magnitude of Z component. So using the Pythagoras theorem, you can say that OP square is equal to OM square plus MP square. Is that clear? OP square is equal to OM square plus MP square. That implies OP is equal to square root of OM square plus MP square. And what is OP? OP is the magnitude of vector A. What is OM? OM is the magnitude of X component, or that is AX. So OM is AX, so OM square will be AX square, plus MP is the magnitude of Y component, or AY, so MP square will be AY square, and then you have to give the square root symbol. It means the magnitude of vector A is this much, square root of AX square plus AY square. For example, suppose you have a vector given in the component form, vector A is equal to 3 I cap plus 4 J cap, and I will ask you to find the magnitude of vector A. Now, how to find it? The formula is AX square plus AY square square root. We are talking about XY plane. So what is X? Ax means the coefficient of I cap. So we have 3 here. So it will be 3 square plus Ay is 4. Write 4 square. Then give square root symbol. 3 square is 9 plus 4 square is 16. So we have square root of 25, that is equal to 5. Similarly, suppose we have A vector equal to minus 4 I cap plus 7 J cap. 7 J cap. So we have to find the magnitude of A. So again the formula is AX square plus AY square square root. So here I cap, the coefficient of I cap is minus 4, means AX is minus 4. So I will write minus 4 square plus AY is 7. So I will write 7 square. So minus 4 square will be 16 plus 7 square will be 49. So we will get square root of 65. Similarly, suppose you have another vector, vector A is written as 8 I cap minus 12 J cap. So here we have to find the magnitude of A vector. So 8 I cap minus 12 J cap is same as 8 I cap plus minus 12 J cap. Minus 12 into J cap. Okay, so here the magnitude of A is AX square plus AY square square root. AX means the coefficient of I cap, so we have 8, so 8 square plus AY is minus 12, so minus 12 square, and then give a square root sign. 8 square is 64 plus minus 12 square will be 144, square root it will be square root of 208. So students, in this way you can find the magnitude of a vector if it is given in component form. Similarly, if we have a vector in yz plane, then suppose vector A is equal to AY j cap plus AZ k cap. This is in the yz plane. So sorry, a vector magnitude will be how much? It will be square root of a y square plus a z square. Similarly, if we have vector in xz plane, suppose we have ax I cap plus az k cap, then the magnitude of a is equal to square root of a x square plus a z square. Is that clear? So students, I had discussed how to calculate the magnitude of a vector if it is given in the component form. So let me summarize all those formulas here. Suppose vector A is equal to ax I cap plus ay j cap, or vector A can be expressed as ay j cap plus az k cap, and similarly vector A can be expressed as ax I cap plus az k cap. This is in xy plane, this is in yz plane, and this is in xz plane. So in the first case, the magnitude of vector A is equal to square root of ax square plus ay square. In the second case, magnitude of A is equal to ay square plus az square square root. And in the third case, the magnitude of A is ax square plus az square square root. So it is very easy. All these formulas are similar type. Okay. So we have learned how to find the magnitude of a vector if it is given in component form in a plane. But if a vector is in space in three dimension, or in 3D, how can I split a vector? Again, if you know the angle, between a vector and a given axis, you can easily find the component. So if vector A is splitted in x, y, z space or in 3D, then it will have some x component, it will have some y component, and it will have some z component. It means I can write a vector like ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. Is that clear? If I am splitting the vector in a plane, then it has only two components, either x component y component, or y component z component, or x component z component. But if I split the vector in 3D or in xyz space, then I will get three components. So vector A can be expressed as ax I cap plus ay j cap plus az k cap. And in this case, the magnitude of A will be how much? Ax square plus ay square plus az square square root. For example, vector A is equal to 3 I cap minus 5 j cap plus 9 k cap. And we have to find the magnitude of A. So you can see that what is the coefficient of I cap? This is 3. It means Ax is 3. So I can write 3 square plus Ay means the coefficient of j cap is minus 5. So write minus 5 square plus Az is the coefficient of k cap, which is 9. So write 9 square and then give a square symbol. So 3 square is 9 plus minus 5 square is 25 plus 9 square is 81, and then give a square root symbol. So 81 plus 9 is 90, 90 plus 25 will be 115. So you will get 115 square root. So this is the magnitude of vector A. So students, I hope that you have got some idea about how to split or how to resolve a vector into its components along different axes. So this is a new concept, so you may take some more time to understand this concept clearly, and we will solve many problems, many numericals based on this concept. So this is the first lecture about this topic, and we will continue to discuss about this topic again and again until you get a clear cut idea about how to resolve a vector. So that's all for today's class. In the next class, I will discuss more about this topic. I will solve more numericals so that your concept will be more clear. So again, we will meet in the next class. So till then, have a nice day and bye bye.